Hello everyone, this is Pratima, Faculty of Physiology, next fellow. Today we shall learn a fundamental topic in physiology, that is homeostasis. The word homeostasis has two parts in it, homeo and stasis. Homeo means same and stasis means standstill. So it is defined as maintenance of constant internal environment of the body, and this term was introduced by American physiologist Walter B. Cannon. As you know, life has originated in water and primitive organisms like amoeba were unicellular organisms. They used to obtain nutrients from the surrounding water and excrete the waste materials back into it. During evolution, as animal became multicellular and more complex, it became very difficult for each cell to obtain nutrients from the surrounding medium and excrete the waste materials back into it. As a result, nature has developed a system of division of labor, where certain groups of cells became specialized to perform a particular function. Thus, various systems developed in our body, and also the water medium itself got incorporated within our body, through which cells can obtain nutrients and excrete the waste materials. So this picture depicts organization of human body. This entire rectangle or case represents our body, and this surrounding part represents skin, which acts as protective layer as well as it performs the function of heat regulation or temperature regulation. This part represents respiratory system, which obtains oxygen from the atmosphere and excrete carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Whereas this lower panel tube-like structure represents our gastrointestinal tract, which obtains food material through which nutrients will be absorbed from the gut and then undigested material will be excreted from the body through anus. Now whatever is the oxygen as well as nutrients are obtained from respiratory system and GIT will be circulated to each and every cell via cardiovascular system. So it also collects waste materials from the various parts, various cells in the body and transport them to the various excretory organs like your bladder or kidneys, skin as well as lungs. Thus, all these systems work together to maintain appropriate environment that surrounds the cell. So, their ultimate goal is to maintain the constancy of internal environment, that is homeostasis. The term internal environment was coined by the French physiologist Claude Bernard, and the French word for this internal environment is milieu intérieur, and it means extracellular fluid, which constitutes 1/3 of the total body fluids. Thus, all the homeostatic mechanisms are directed to maintain the constancy of internal environment, and it is maintained by two mechanisms, two types of mechanisms. They are called as feedback mechanisms and feed-forward mechanisms. Feedback mechanisms are of two types, negative feedback and positive feedback mechanisms. Now let us study these feedback mechanisms. So this is the major control system utilized in the body. In any feedback mechanism, there is a stimulus, which means change in the internal or external environment. Then the receptors which detect these changes, center or the control center which decides the action based on the inputs, and the effector organ which produces the response to maintain the constancy of the environment. Because this controller acts in response to the signals received from the receptors, there is always some delay in this mechanisms. So let us start with the negative feedback system. Here the stimulus and the response, they act in opposite direction, where a stimulus elicits a response and the response in turn inhibits the stimulus. So whenever there is any disturbance in homeostatic mechanism, say this is a particular set point which has to be maintained, and if it is disturbed because of any reason, then receptors will detect this change. Signals will be fed to the control center. Control center initiates the action via effector organs, and then point is re-established back, or this disturbance is re-established back. So this is how negative feedback mechanisms usually work. Negative feedback is the predominant control system used in regulation of blood pressure, blood glucose level, regulation of body temperature, pH, etc. So these are always aimed to minimize the change in the controlled variable. And negative feedback are the major predominant control systems utilized by the body. About 99% of the homeostatic mechanisms are utilizing negative feedback mechanisms. Now each and every negative feedback system has its own efficiency, and efficiency is expressed in terms of gain. So gain of negative feedback system gives idea about its efficiency. Let us understand with the example. So this column represents the blood pressure. This brown color represents the value of mean blood pressure, which is say 100 millimeters of mercury. Now because of any reason, say for example exercise or any other thing, there is increase in the blood pressure from the mean value of 100 to the new value 175 millimeters of mercury. So normal set point which baroreceptor set is 100 millimeters of mercury, but now there is change in the blood pressure to 175 millimeters of mercury. This change will be immediately detected by baroreceptors, and baroreceptors will act to reduce this change. So because of baroreceptor intervention, the blood pressure has reduced now towards the normal value, and the new value achieved is now 125 millimeters of mercury. So as you can note here, even though baroreceptors has done intervention, the value of mean blood pressure has not reached back to the original value of 100 millimeters of mercury. It has reached only up to 125. So this discrepancy between the value obtained because of negative feedback system and the original value or the original set point, the difference between these two values is called as error in this mechanism. Whereas because of baroreceptors, the change has been reduced from 175 to 125. So this much is the amount of correction done by baroreceptor system. So this is called as correction factor. So if we divide correction by error in the system, we get the value of gain. So in this example, gain of the system will be the correction done by the error. So 50 by 25, that is 2. So gain of baroreceptor system is 2. Negative sign in the value of gain represents the direction of the change. So as I told, gain determines efficiency of negative feedback system. More the value of gain, more is the efficiency of the system. So as we have seen, the gain of the baroreceptor system is 2. But if you see gain of temperature regulatory system, it is 33. So definitely temperature regulatory system is more efficient than baroreceptor system. And in our body there is only one system which has got infinite gain. Infinite gain means there is no error left, means 100% correction is done. And this infinite gain is seen for renal body fluid mechanism of blood pressure regulation. So this corrects your blood pressure to 100% back to normal. It is one of the long-term regulatory mechanisms of blood pressure. Now coming to the positive feedback mechanism. In this situation, stimulus and the response, they act in the same direction. So stimulus initiates response and response in turn intensifies the stimulus. So it is also called as vicious cycle. There are few mechanisms in the body which utilize vicious cycle mechanism, and there is mnemonic to remember these mechanisms as CLAPS. So C stands for clotting mechanism, L for LH surge during ovulation, A for action potential, both initiation as well as its conduction, P for parturition. So these are the normal mechanisms, physiological mechanisms where positive feedback mechanisms will be utilized. And under pathological conditions, positive feedback also will be seen during second stage of hypovolemic shock. Now there is second type of control mechanism called as feed forward mechanisms. So sometimes our body utilizes this feed forward mechanisms. In this case, the control center anticipates the change that will happen in the body within the next few seconds or milliseconds and sends corrective signals even before the disturbance takes place, and so it is known as feed forward mechanism. So there is no time lag because it is occurring even before the disturbance is created. It is also called as anticipatory control system because the control system is anticipating the change and taking the necessary action. So various mechanisms which utilize feed forward control are temperature regulatory mechanism by hypothalamus. For example, if the atmosphere is cold, if it is winter season, outside the ambient temperature is cold, the skin thermoreceptors will detect this change, and always these are the shell temperature that will first be noting the change, and if the corrective signals are not taken, then only the change will be transferred to the core temperature and it will change. So as soon as the peripheral thermoreceptors detect this change, they will send signals to hypothalamus, and hypothalamus will understand that within next few minutes to few hours core temperature will fall, and to prevent this hypothalamus will send anticipatory signals to the various systems in the body to increase the temperature or to maintain the body temperature, which will include shivering, that is non-chemical thermogenesis, increase in the BMR and so on. So this is one of the classical example for feed forward mechanism. Other examples include cephalic phase of gastric juice secretion, where gastric juice is secreted even before food enters into the stomach. This usually happens in response to thought of the food or smell of the food, etc. It also is seen during or just before the exercise. So it is also observed even before we start the exercise, there is increase in the rate of ventilation. So this is to maintain the oxygen level to normal value, because brain realizes that within moments the tissues will start working and they will be extracting oxygen from the circulation. Then posture maintenance during angular rotation, which is the function of semicircular canal, that also will be utilizing feed forward mechanism. And of course the last mechanism is cerebellar control over motor coordination. It also utilizes feed forward mechanism. Then there is something called as servo mechanism. In this servo mechanism, the set point is not fixed. The set point is variable. It keeps on changing as per the requirement of the body, and therefore the constancy is maintained during dynamic equilibrium. So we have seen that during negative feedback mechanism, the set point is a fixed value, and all the mechanisms they operate to maintain that particular set point. But in this case, the set point itself is variable. So example for this servo mechanism is regulation of muscle length by muscle spindle. So as our muscles are contracting, the muscle length is changing, and it is required to have specific length during the specific time of specific time period. So this will be detected by muscle spindle, and it will try to maintain the required muscle length during its contraction. So this is the example for servo mechanism. So there is no fixed gain for this mechanism, even though it is a type of negative feedback or similar to negative feedback. There is no fixed value of gain for servo mechanism. So this is all for this session. Thank you.